Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Karen Ball, and I am the broker owner of Pronueo Insurance Agency, a health insurance brokerage. A little bit about me. I was born and raised in Santa Rosa, and I graduated from Santa Rosa High School. I attended Chico State University, where I received a degree in music, a teaching credential, and a husband. My husband, Dennis, and I have been married for 41 years, and we have two children, Mike and Laura. Both kids are married, but Mike and his wife, Becky, are the parents of the apples of my eye, Riley and Logan. My current children at home include Remy, a black lab, and Strauss and Chopin, two dachshunds that we adopted because they were previously owned by friends of ours who passed away from COVID. What many people don't know is that I am a singer and musician, so I love playing music. But I also enjoy bocce, bowling, sewing, and gardening. I've had many experiences in my working career to include accounting, paralegal, and real estate. I entered into the insurance industry during the 2008 recession as a captive agent and started my independent brokerage in September of 2010. I decided to go independent because I didn't feel that I was serving my clients justly by trying to convince them they needed the limited insurance products that I was required to sell. As an independent broker, I can search a wide range of carriers and find the best options for my clients. So today we will be discussing what single payer healthcare and Medicare for all might look like in California. First of all, we need to define what we are talking about because single payer and Medicare for all are not the same thing. What is the same is that they are both healthcare programs that are paid for and overseen by the government. The most recent bill in California was Assembly Bill 1400, which would create a program called CalCare. CalCare is a single payer healthcare system for California. There are actually many different forms of government-run healthcare that are being discussed on the Hill. The most prevalent one is single payer. Single payer eliminates all other forms of medical coverage. Private health insurance, including Covered California, employer-sponsored healthcare, Medicare for 65 and older and disabled, Medi-Cal for low income, and veterans coverage. Cost saving is achieved through lower provider payments and more oversight and accountability. The government funds this program by diverting federal funds received from Medicare, Medi-Cal, and Veterans Care, and by increasing taxes to individuals and businesses. So what has happened to CalCare? It was never voted on by the Assembly before the deadline. The first hurdle that hasn't been cleared is the cost of the program. It is estimated that this program would cost $169 billion per year, although other estimates are as high as $400 billion per year. It would require the state to get waivers from the federal government to divert the designated federal money we receive. There would also need to be significant tax increases, and there would most likely be an increase in the costs year over year, which means future tax increases. The bottom line, funding of a single payer system comes from all or a portion of the covered population via new taxes. The second concern is access to care. Currently, hospitals receive from Medicare and Medi-Cal 87 cents for every $1 they spend. This is not a sustainable business model. With lower payouts to providers, there likely would be an exodus of medical professionals and services. There's a major concern that the exodus would cause a rationing of care, lower quality of care, and long wait times for services. Right now, the US has the lowest wait times in the world. There was also a genuine concern about throwing our current access to healthcare into chaos. The California Chamber of Commerce opposed this bill on the basis of it being a $160 $8 billion experiment that would ultimately be the first of the 2022 job killer bills. Medicare for All is a universal health care plan where basic coverage is provided through an expansion of the current Medicare program. Premiums are subsidized by the government, so individuals pay a reduced premium for this coverage. The government covers approximately 80% of medical expenses for inpatient and outpatient services, but there is no prescription drug coverage. This type of plan would still allow for the purchase of private insurance that fills the gap, as it currently does. The government then pays the insurance company to administer coverage. No coverage is administered by the state. The estimated cost to implement Medicare for All nationwide is approximately $32 trillion. Estimates for just the state of California are unknown at this time. But with low reimbursement rates, Medicare for All faces the same potential problems and hurdles as a single payer system. There are a number of proposals being discussed at the Capitol. The first one is public option. This is a government-run health insurance agency that would compete with private companies. The idea being that premiums would be so much lower than private companies that people would eventually gravitate toward the lower premium plans, and the insurance companies would pull out of the state because they couldn't afford to compete, thus eventually creating a single payer plan in the state of California. Next is universal access to healthcare. This is a broad term for a program that makes some level of basic coverage available to all through the government, but also allows for private insurance as a choice, as long as the private insurance offers at least the minimum required coverage. Universal health care provides health care for everyone, but may be achieved by many different configurations, including the blending of government, public, and private options. Lowering the eligibility age for Medicare has been estimated to create an additional budget deficit of at least $155 billion in California within the first 5 years. The common thread through all of these is that the government is making a significant commitment to being the main payer for healthcare. As you can see, money is a huge part of the issue. Even though we spend more per person for medical service and prescription drugs than any other country, our access to medical care is greater than anywhere else in the world. People from other countries come here to have their surgeries and medical procedures performed because the wait list is so long in their country. According to the Public Policy Institute of California, 65% of adults are in favor of a single payer system because it gives the illusion of free health care until you tell them it will significantly raise taxes. Then that approval number goes to about 42%. Even if California received approval to divert federal funds toward a single payer plan, they would need voters' approval if the expense caused the state to exceed its constitutional spending limit. If the plan is too complicated or taxpayers become upset about the tax hikes, lawmakers would not get the votes. For now, we have the provisions of the Affordable Care Act and Covered California, which seem to change on a continual basis. And I will do my best to stay apprised of those changes to help you and your referrals navigate the system, stay compliant, and avoid penalties. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Karen. And now we'll get to hear from Dr. Austin